Welcome into Inside Humboldt Basketball with head coach Ronald Abernathy. It's been a couple of weeks. We missed last week. You were in the middle of a tournament on Monday last week. I was also out of town, and so we thought it would be easier to recap a tournament when it was all done and not stop in the middle. I know your first game you took on East Nashville. Talk about that school, their program. I don't know, have we ever played them before?
No. Yeah, we have in the summertime.
Okay.
We played them in the summer in a team camp.
Okay, but first time having them in the regular season.
First time in the regular season.
And it was a Christmas Classic up in Ripley. What did you see in that game? Kind of bring people up to speed on how that game went.
It was a great game. Of course, I believe East Nashville is 3A.
Yeah.
So the very first thing that stands out, is the athletes that they have.
Sure.
And they were good. And they were very well coached. Yeah. They were good. They were very well coached. It's a game we let get away.
Yes.
I said to my coaches, I've been here 12 years. I don't know of an incident where we've been ahead 15 points in the third quarter and lose the game.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up because at the break, you had one of your most productive offensive halves of the season in the first half. I felt like it looked like you had controlled the tempo. You were attacking the rim. You were really forcing East Nashville to play catch-up.
Yes.
The second half, they come out in the third quarter and put 27 points up.
Yes, they did.
That's unusual for our team.
But for our team, it was unusual. But they never quit.
Yeah.
They never quit. Good program.
Sure.
They never quit. And again, that's the purpose of us playing.
Sure.
Teams outside and bigger to let our kids, wake them up.
Yeah.
To let them know that you got to play every game. And I thought they did a great job of not quitting.
Yeah.
When we went up by 15 in the third quarter, we should have closed the door. That should have been it.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't happen. It did not happen.
Do you think was it defensive rotations? What played into them driving back into that game, basically taking the lead and winning here in the end?
Well, turnovers. I do believe two people made two turnovers in a row in that 15-point lead span, and which was highly unacceptable. And one was a senior, of course, the other one was a freshman.
Sure.
I won't call any names.
Right.
But yeah, those things were uncharacteristic at the time like that, especially when you're up 15. Now, previously with TCA and the three previous games we had played where we had been up like that, then we milked the clock, run the offense, get the easy bucket. For this time, we did not do that.
And I put in the article that came out in the Humboldt Chronicle. I think it's coming out either tonight, first thing tomorrow, in the Humboldt Chronicle. I said, this is a team that is they're young. We know that you've got some young depth players that have to come in and play. But this is not a characteristic that we've seen in other Coach Ab teams where we have a third quarter where they score 27 points, then they turn around and score 25 points in the fourth quarter. Right. Normally, our strength and conditioning, we take pride in that, where it's the third and fourth quarters that we're doing that to other teams.
Exactly. And of course, perennially, that's how our season has gone, is how we've played. And
sure.
That was one of the few times when it didn't happen that way.
In the middle of it all, Darian Taylor delivers another standout performance, 30 points, consistently finding ways to score in traffic and pressure. You did see Demarion Westbrook, a younger guy, come in, and saw him, adding 15 points. That's pretty big. I think that may be the most he's added all season.
Oh, it is. He had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Again, he's one of the freshmen that we are dependent on.
Right.
One of the freshmen who we have those struggles with.
Yeah.
Up and down, in and out. But he is one that he had a good game that night.
And Jakevius Graves also added 15 points in that one as well. Providing that secondary scoring to Darian, it was nice. And normally, if you're having in the score of 88 points, you're in the hunt. You could win a game like that, 82 points rather. We fell 88-82 in that one. And then to turn around and you get Sunday off, but you go back in there on Monday night facing the home team. Was their home crowd pretty good?
Yes, it was. It was. Ripley always has a good home crowd.
And so these kids had to walk into adversity again after losing the night before.
Right.
This one thing about this team, they seem to bounce back pretty good the next day.
Well, it's more, not so much as bounce back as not playing up to the potential when you're supposed to.
Gotcha.
like we did not play up to our potential against East Nashville with a 15-point lead. We lose it, and we lose the game, but then we come back against Ripley and play the way we're supposed to play.
Yeah. What played into the slower start? Because both teams had 11 points at the end of the first quarter in Ripley.
Right. Again, the biggest thing about holidays is the tournament and the schedule. Because we played on Saturday, I believe.
Yeah.
And then we didn't play Sunday. We played on Monday.
Yeah.
It's that's why you play tournaments, because it's a very unsettling time, and it's a time where you have to adjust the times, and time frames.
And I did notice like you were missing Champion and some of that too.
Yeah.
People need to realize that when you start looking at these scores, when you start pulling pieces out that are normally there, it does make a difference. It messes with the chemistry.
Especially where we are right now.
Sure.
At this part of the season and that's why, again, we play a tough schedule, getting prepared for the district, because we run into all types of adversities, and you have to learn to overcome them. And you sure don't want to wait to the district and the region to try to overcome them.
Sure. I talked about the 11-point first quarter for both teams, but then you kind of had this explosive burst of scoring in the second, where you scored 29 points, kind of gave you a good first half lead. Right. What was that conversation like in the locker room at halftime?
Well, pretty much the same. Against East Nashville, we had a big lead. So tonight, let's make sure that we're in tune. The second half, the first 5 minutes are important. Not to let them back in the game. Yeah. And the game similarly followed the plan that we normally play with, and how. Sure. By coming back out the third quarter and then playing very well, extending the lead, and then going on to win the game from there.
I like what you're saying there. It's making me feel better about the article I wrote, because I'm looking at this and I said Humboldt established a cushion that allowed them to close the game this time with poise, rather than just this urgency of, oh no, they're coming back. It seemed like we had more control. Final score was 69-52.
We did.
As we defeated Ripley.
Yes, we did.
And we've kind of owned that series for the last few years.
We really have.
And that's good.
It's very good, because I always have great athletes, good program, good basketball. Sure. And we've been pretty successful against them.
The Ripley Christmas Classic did exactly what quality tournaments do, and they reveal truths about yourself. You're not really looking as much as everybody else as you're saying, how did we respond? And I feel like the answer coming back in on Monday, even though it was difficult just 2 days later, felt like these kids, maybe they learned some lessons from that 2 days ago. I know that's what the hopes are.
They did. And also we threatened them a little bit.
Sure.
Okay, so it's either redemption tonight or redemption next week. Which would be right now, which means we have 5 or 6 days to where we only got practice. So do we want to practice with a loss, or do we want to practice doing the right thing? Yeah.
Oh my! It did highlight how dangerous this Viking offense can be, though. I mean, everybody knows if you give them any kind of room at all, these kids know how to score, and they have played good defense at times. We're looking obviously for more consistency there against these bigger teams. Now, we look this week. Obviously, you move out of tournament action. Now you're back into your kind of not really region play. You got a region game. West Carroll, are they in our region?
They're in our district, yeah.
Okay, so in our district. So now we have Dyersburg, which will be another chance for kind of redemption, because they handed it to us.
Very good.
Yeah. Now we were missing some players again. Yeah. I got to preface that with that, because I don't want people thinking, my goodness, what's happening? This is up and down. We were missing some players that night. We had a lot of freshmen playing that night too that were starting when we played Dyersburg the first time.
We started 3 freshmen that night.
Now you're playing at home.
And at one time we looked on the floor and I said to Coach Butler, look at that, man, we got 4 freshmen. We had 4 freshmen in Darien.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, okay, we're trying to play basketball.
Yeah, and so you play Dyersburg tomorrow night, 7:30, and it is here on your home court. Right. I'm trying to remember the last time Dyersburg played here. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Well, no, last year.
Did they play here last year?
Last year they was real good. They had the big 6'8" kid last year.
Yes. Okay.
And we beat them here at home. Actually, we beat them on home and
there.
And their place.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I remember that now. So this game, do you talk much about the first? Because you had a lot of people out in that one too.
We did, but no, we're talking about the first game. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. It's going to be clear and to the point.
All right.
Okay, clear and to the point. Yes, we do talk about it.
You've got a week of home games here, which
do.
it's just good. You're
great.
playing Dyersburg at home. Obviously, we talked about the turnovers and the freshmen playing, but what is your emphasis going into that game tomorrow night? I know it's about us, but I'll give you a chance to say it again.
But pretty much about redemption.
Okay.
There's no secret, no questions about that. They handed it to us when we were at Dyersburg. So now, we can put a little bit more ammunition in our gun, and we should be able to fire a little better than we did at Dyersburg.
So Dyersburg comes here tomorrow night, Tuesday night, January 6th. Then we're home again Friday night. We play West Carroll Friday night.
It'll be our first district game.
And I felt like last year Darien handled himself very well with this being a former team coming back. I don't even really feel like that's the storyline this year. We've already done that. We've been through that. Darien can just really focus on playing Viking basketball.
Right.
But he's looked up to in our district big time. He's having a great season. But this team is more than just Darien. As we talked about earlier, we've had some freshmen stepping up in the last week or two, supplying that supporting role where he doesn't have to score the 30 points to win a game. How do you approach that game Friday night? What do you expect West Carroll to bring to try to throw you off your game?
Well, as much as we yell and fuss and scream, the freshmen who are playing have improved.
Yes, sir.
No question about that. And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Improvement from them. If you're going to play, you got to improve. If
Yeah.
not, you will be helping us coach on the bench.
Sure.
But and they know this, and they have improved. As is always when it's district time, everything goes up a notch. Everything goes up a notch. So I expect West Carroll to come in to try to play basketball.
Sure.
Try to get a win here.
Sure. Well, West Carroll, obviously they would love to steal a win here because we have to go there eventually later in the year. And, that home court does matter. We need those Viking fans to show up, be proud, be loud. Obviously, be sensible with what you're yelling, but get involved in that game.
Exactly.
We got some good fans. They're traveling well with us this year.
They are.
But then you have the rare Saturday game. Every once in a while, we sprinkle in a Saturday game, and I know Max Preps has the time wrong. If you're following Max Preps, that game is not 3:30 in the morning. It is 3:30 in the afternoon. So we ain't gonna play basketball that early. But 3:30 p.m. on Saturday, January the 10th. Man, you've been able to stay pretty healthy this year.
Right.
But this is a really kind of a strenuous week where you have a Tuesday, Friday, Saturday game. Do you approach your week of practice different this week?
Well, a little different. We've had a whole week where we haven't played any games. So we work very hard in the weight room, physically, on the court, offensively, defensively. We've worked very, very hard this week. Which is unusual because you don't get a chance to practice that much.
Right.
But we have.
And being out of school, you were able to really hone in a lot more.
Yes,
I know we was talking off air a little bit about, the practice schedule's a little different when you have class, and their focus is hard to get back on basketball because they've got, they are student athletes, and so they're still working their way through high school. But it's a big week of games, and Dyersburg obviously is probably your biggest challenge because of their classification and the needs of redemption here. But all three games, you can't really look past anybody this weekend.
No, this is the time you step forward.
Yeah.
It's time you look forward. It's just time you prepare because the district is important to us, and that's what we've been working for and moving towards all year. Sure.
Well, we are already almost 14 minutes into the podcast, so now we're going to pull the curtain back and just kind of let you talk from the heart today. You've been very privileged in your career to both be coached by some great guys, but also coach yourself, as a coach, along with some great guys that were in your circle. What would you say? Because we always talk about Coach Ab's philosophy, but when you talk about these different coaches, the coaches that you have always deposited things into you as a coach as well. What's been the biggest influence to help you form your philosophy in the game?
Well, probably first is, I was the associate head coach at LSU under Dale Brown. Yeah. And his mentor was John Wooten. Mm-hmm. And a lot of my philosophy has come from Coach Brown and Wooten's philosophies about the game.
Okay.
Big influence for me.
Sure.
Because I really believe in, UCLA. Coach Wooten coached UCLA and won 11 national championships. Mm-hmm. Coach Brown strictly adhered to his philosophy, And I picked that up myself.
Sure.
In our visits to UCLA and our visits and spending time with Coach Wooten. And then, of course, Coach Wooten and Coach John were Coach Wooten and Coach Brown were very close and communicated quite a bit was the one influence. The second big influence was I always considered myself a good defensive coach. Knowing the game, I was a good defensive player in college myself, and I've always broken down defenses and tried to find the best one. But another big influence for me was Tex Winter, who came to LSU. And Tex was actually my assistant at LSU for 3 years. And him and I spent a lot of time together about offense.
Okay.
He was offensive guru. And of course, that's evident by, he went on and became Phil Jackson's assistant with the Bulls, and he went on with the Lakers, and the triangle offenses here is. I spent a lot of time with him, which allowed me to bring the knowledge of defense in my game plan up to snuff.
Okay.
And was very influential. So I think I would say the two of the most important people would be John Wooten and Tex Winter, along with Coach Dale Brown.
And then obviously we talk about what you pull from those guys, but what would you say is something unique that under your coaching staff that you really didn't get from anywhere else, but it's just something that you've brought to the table that would be unique from those guys?
Well, the other day we were talking, and I was talking to the team in the circle, and I don't know how this came up, but the question came up is, how would you describe Coach Ab? And it was very heartwarming.
Sure.
Strict, disciplined, focused, to the point, were the things that all my coaches said that they would take from me.
Oh.
And those are the things that I got.
Yeah.
We talk about how our team looks. Well, I learned that from Dale Brown.
Okay.
He wanted the team to wear the same underwear.
Okay.
Same socks.
Yeah.
Same shoes. Same polo, same pants, anything on that uniform, anything, they all had to be the same.
Yeah.
And then guess who puts in charge of all these things? It was me.
Yeah.
And I learned from him about the stick-to-itiveness and dotting every I, crossing every T as far as team dress and protocol.
What are some of the non-negotiables that you demand from your players on and off the court?
First of all, is respect.
Okay.
And I got to give it first. I give respect first, and I expect it from them.
Sure.
It's a no-nonsense attitude. And I think, as my players say, one or two, Coach, when you step in the room, everybody know you mean business.
Sure.
And that's basically how I feel. And I expect that from my players, and I always have.
Yeah.
I think if someone would interview Shaquille O'Neal, probably Stanley Roberts, who were probably two of the biggest players I've ever coached, the first thing they want to probably tell you is Coach Ab did not play.
Yeah.
And even today, when I see Shaq or Stanley, the first thing they laugh and joke because they talk about how tough I was. And I don't know if you recall or remember when we had the fundraiser here.
Yeah.
Shaq told a story about missing class.
Yes.
And waking up, and the first thing he saw in the door was this big coach standing in the middle, this big, beautiful coach standing in the middle of the door.
Yeah.
But the discipline, the focus, the dotting every I, the crossing every T, and you have to do it on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
You just can't do it sometimes.
Sure.
And from them, I got those qualities.
We talk about the physicality of the game, and especially what you demand on the court with the physicality and the conditioning that we put through our players. But there's also a mental side of the game that's just as important. How do you help a player who's not struggling physically, but maybe they're struggling with the mental part of the game?
Well, the first thing you have to do is be positive with them.
Okay.
Be positive with them, and you always want to be able to tell them the positives first.
Okay.
Show the positives first. go over the positives first, and then you can talk about the things that they're doing wrong. I think just as with players in basketball, just as in life, if they know you care about them, they will listen.
That's good.
And I think that the thing I try to do first is to let my players know that I care about them as people first, and not as basketball players, not as athletes. Okay?
Yeah.
I just feel like that's always been a plus for me. And again,
Sure.
going back to Shaquille O'Neal and all those players I recruited at LSU, the first thing they would probably say is coach did not play, stricken to the point, but they will also say that they can come and talk to me about anything when we were off the court.
When you're sitting on the sideline, it's a close game. Let's just say there's 2 minutes left in the game. What particular is going through your mind in that moment?
For me, it's about being in control.
Okay.
It's about not getting caught up in the fans and, like you said, if you're going to run, 2 or 3 point run, and everybody's jumping and screaming and hollering, I feel my job is the next play.
Yeah.
And I have to be thinking ahead, so I have to stay calm and be in tune, stand prepared for what's about to happen next, and not get all caught up in the moment.
Sure. And that kind of leads me to my next question, because it's easy for people to get caught up in the pressure of, like this year, we've lost a few games, and younger coaches might let that start getting to them, and they start kind of shifting philosophies. But when you've coached as long as you have, why don't you share with us how you keep perspective when that pressure is high, but yet the expectations are heavy?
The biggest, keep it simple.
Okay.
Keep it simple. My coaches will tell you, even times during the games, they will suggest some things that we do, and my first thing is we didn't practice that, so we're not going to do it.
Okay.
And that's been a philosophy. If we didn't practice it and our kids don't know it, we're not going to do it. And I feel like the biggest thing is keeping it simple and getting the athletic talent out of them. Now, as a mature coach, I'm not worried about what people think, say about whether I can coach or whether I know what I'm doing or not. I'm trying to win a game.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
So I'm going to make the best decision that I can possibly make based on my experience, and that's my experience as a coach in big time and pressure-packed games and tight situations, and been very blessed to make some good decisions.
Yes, sir. Well, we've talked about, this obviously your final season here in Humboldt, coming to an end here within a couple of months, and one of your proteges here on the team taking the team next year, and you brought him here. And, I think always in the back of your mind that was there, that you hoped he would be the next guy.
Oh,
right?
no question. No question about that. It's something special.
Yeah.
As a coach, for me, when a player that plays for you can be with me like he has for 12 years and then be able to take over.
So what's your message to the next generation of Vikings that they're in junior high or whatever, and they'll be stepping up to this team eventually? They'll be under a Coach Marcus Butler. But what would be your word to that generation of Vikings?
Stay the course.
Okay.
Stay the course. Continue to believe. Continue to stay in and focused, and continue to be in tune to what's going on, because we're not trying to prove we have a great program.
Sure.
This is a great basketball program.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, Coach, we're pushing close to 23 and a half minutes here already.
Well, I do want to mention, and we talked about this, I'm going on January.
That's right. Yeah.
16th, 17th. I am going to LSU.
Yeah.
For the celebration of the 1986 Final Four team.
That's awesome.
And they spare no expenses.
Yeah.
It's hotel. It's a great time. And the point I am in my career, sometimes I've missed a couple over the years.
Sure.
Because we've had a game here and we've decided not to do it. But I've heard from a lot of the players on that team.
Yeah.
And I want to know, Coach, are you coming? They're like, yep, I'm going to it. As a matter of fact, this weekend I actually talked with the AD, and they want to make sure that I was coming. And he said, Coach, we want to celebrate you.
Yeah.
And what your part was in helping that team in 1986 reach the Final Four.
So do you know what that event will be? Will it be at a game or?
No.
Okay.
It'll actually be a whole weekend.
Whole weekend. Okay.
Yeah, actually, on Friday, I believe that is the 16th, there will be a banquet, which will be a testimonial banquet.
Sure.
Where all the players will attend, and It'll be a semi-formal affair, and we'll talk about it. There will be a reception earlier during the day. The L Club, which is the athletic club for LSU, is sponsoring it.
Okay.
So there will be an L Club reception, and there will be a dinner later on that night. And then LSU plays Missouri, I believe, on Saturday. Wow. And actually, this weekend, while I watched LSU and Texas A&M, and just while I was watching ESPN, advertisements came on about LSU's 1986 celebration of their Final Four team, and I saw a picture of myself. It flashed on and flashed to the team where they were advertising the event. Yeah. And so we'll be celebrating at that game also on Saturday afternoon, and then there will be dinner afterwards on Saturday night.
And I've talked to you about getting some photos from that, not just for the Chronicle, but we'll kind of go down memory lane here on the podcast, throw some pictures up, and talk about some of the stories from there. And I know what everybody's thinking. You may end up getting a picture with Lane Kiffin while you're there. He's at LSU.
He sure is. Yeah. I may even try. I may even try because I'm anticipating he'll probably be around.
Look at there. Oh, I'm sure.
So I may try.
He showed up at a ball game this last weekend.
Yeah.
They may run him out because they lost that one, but it's
Yes.
Oh, my. We'll talk about that on a podcast when you get back. I know you mentioned the 16th. That's our game at Middleton. So there will be still some ball games happening here, and we'll be looking forward to when you get back. We can talk about your trip.
Yes, sir.
All right. This has been Inside Humboldt Basketball with head coach Ronald Abernathy. We thank you for joining us. We'll be back again next Monday with another episode of the podcast.